that you'll receive a Visa card for. And there is no starter card for this, so you can't buy it at Walmart, but you can register online, and this is exactly like a bank account. However, there are no physical checks for this. Everything is online. So you have your bill pay capability and all of those different ways of managing your money. We just implemented another bank account product with Walgreens, a retailer here in the United States, and it's called Scarlet. And the names that come up with, guys, these names are names that the retailers come up with. So Scarlet is for the color red. Walgreens is their color palette is red. But the card itself, I think, is a beautiful card. But this card has very similar capabilities as the Bluebird Visa bank account. However, this has a cash back capability. So that's one of the differentiators here, is for all the purchases that are at Walgreens, you get 3% cash back, and then you get 1% wherever you use your card. So there's a very nice cash back capability here. And then all the other ways that you want to manage your money, you have the ability to do so here. Another big partnership that we have is with Jackson Hewitt. And we are in the middle of tax season here in the United States. And guys, I'm not familiar with how taxes and such are managed within India. But within the United States, April 15th is the day that you have to file your taxes by. And if you have to pay taxes, you have to pay by then. And if you get money back, you won't know until you actually file your taxes. And then the IRS sends the money back to you whenever they get to you. But our relationship with Jackson Hewitt is very interesting. We've had a partnership with them for maybe 5, 6, 7 years. I'm not sure the exact time period. But the encouragement here is that there's Jackson Hewitt tax folks in most Walmarts here in the United States. So you can have your taxes done there. And then there's also other Jackson Hewitt locations that you can have your taxes done. And when you have your taxes done, you can open up a Serve account and have your refund put on your Serve card. And then you can use that to manage that money or spend the money off the card. So this has been a very great partnership for us. And during tax season, we load over $1 billion on the platform. And it's very impressive to see all of that. And this is done over a day. I mean, this normally happens within 1 to 2 days. The IRS will release funds, and those who are processing as we do receive them, and we disperse those funds out to our customers. And as you can imagine, our customers are very anxious to get their funds, so they're checking their mobile app or their secure site or whatever to see if the funds are there, or calling customer service. So it's quite an interesting time, and we're in the middle of that right now. So lots of fun there. Then from a gift card perspective, guys, Income has been in the gift card business way longer than they were in the prepaid business. When they purchased us 5 or 6 years ago, they had a little bit of prepaid capability, but we became the Serve platform became their prepaid platform. But they've been processing gift cards for a very long time. Income is over 25 years old. And they are one of the largest gift card processors in the United States. So if you go into any of the stores here in the United States, and possibly some of these are around the world, these are the type gift cards that you would see in different denominations. And Income also, we may not physically process the transactions and manage the transaction amounts and balances and stuff for all of these cards, but they do manage the creation of the card, the packaging of the card, the distribution of the cards to the retailers. So it's pretty incredible, all of the different things that Income does from a card processing perspective. So as far as capabilities from a single load, there's different merchant networks that they use. The B2C and B2B, that's business to, business to company and business to business. Income incentive networks, or you can buy them online. The benefits, you can give them as a gift, which a lot of folks do. Personal use, there's no fee after purchase. We don't have inactivity fees on our gift cards. The funds don't expire, and they're widely accepted wherever the Visa, MasterCard, or Amex are accepted. And then you can use them through going to a retailer. You can use them online, or you can add them to your digital wallet. So these are some examples of some of our gift cards. Vanilla Gift that's our brand within Income, and they are distributed through mostly drugstores and retailers, some gas stations, and some grocery stores. And there's multiple denominations that you can buy, and then there's a variable load. And then we also have the ability to do an e-gift, which I think is incredibly cool. This is ability that we've established over the last couple of years. So, when you think about a physical card, most folks, load things onto their mobile app and do everything off their mobile phone. So they don't carry around a physical card anymore. Well, that's kind of the concept of the e-gift. You have your gift card through an email and do a very similar thing and load it to your mobile phone. Of course, we have American Express business gift cards, and there's a website out there where they can buy hundreds and thousands of gift cards for different denominations and ship them to a business. So the capabilities of the physical card may be, you're just loading and then using it at a retailer. But if you think about the behind the scenes of managing, a website where you're buying hundreds or thousands of gift cards and shipping them to a business, and they could be different denominations, that's quite some management there. And that's one of the responsibilities that Income has. The Secure Spend product is a prepaid Visa product. This it's not on the Serve platform, so I am not quite as familiar with it, but it's safe for online shopping or traveling, and you can pay bills using this, and they have this with Visa and MasterCard and different denominations. Let's see, Secure. Just trying to see if this is, sorry, it's not reloadable. So this is just a one-time, very similar to a gift card capability, but it seems that you can do more with it than just gift card but you're only able to load money on this once. Restricted access network gift cards. So guys, there's something called open loop and closed loop. And restricted authorization network is what you call a closed loop. And I don't know if y'all have purchased a gift card directly to a retailer, right? If you bought a gift card for a restaurant, Outback or McDonald's or whatever the restaurant was, you can only use that gift card there, right? So that is a closed loop gift card. And on behind the scenes, obviously you're monitoring transactions that only come in with a certain merchant category code and a certain merchant name to make sure that you're only allowing authorizations at that particular location type. So we have the ability to process those kind of gift cards too. And the partner benefits, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. We provide reporting, the card designs, the ability for using the card in store, the distributing of that card, as we talked about earlier, to different retailers. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen a planogram, and I probably should have put this in the slide, but we also manage that. And I don't know if y'all have this in India where you have a lot of gift cards or prepaid cards, but all the racks that those are on, there's smaller racks and there's larger racks. Well, those are called planograms, and somebody has to manage that. And that is one of the things that Incom does. And one of the types of restricted gift cards that we have, the concept, and this is relatively new, that you can buy this one and eat at a couple of different types of restaurants, or you can go enjoy, and this has more than restaurants because it's got, you can go get ice cream or you can go to the movie. And this is a card that's used for shopping at certain retailers. So from a income perspective, we've designed the cards, we've created the cards, and we've also got the network and the ability to make sure that the only transactions that we are approving on these, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, are transactions from these different retailers. And again, you can purchase these cards in different retailers, excuse me, that that we work with at different denominations, and give them as gifts or use them for your personal use. And that's it.
So, it's quite pleasure listening to you, Ms. Kimberly. Now, let me open the floor for question and answer. Over to you, Aarti.
Okay, sir. Friends, if you have any questions, you can please post it.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Myself, Vikram, second year MBA student. I have one question, ma'am. Shall I ask you?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. I am a fresher. If I need to enter into the card payment industry, what are the skills are required, ma'am?
Well, that's a great question. So it depends, I guess, on really what you want to do. I personally had a business degree, and so for me, back in the day when I was going to school, there was not a degree to prepare you for the job that I do today. It's just something that I have grown in. So really to get into the business side of the payment industry, I would recommend a business degree. And the business degree could be in management, it could be in marketing. There's several different aspects. You could see my degree was in industrial management, which I've never stepped foot into a plant that manufactures things, which is what my degree was in. However, my work path led me in this way. I mean, it was through networking and jobs that I'd had that kind of led me in this path. My very first job out of school was a collector at a bank. I collected money off of retailers who were past due on paying bills for carpet. It was in the carpet industry, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so that was my very first job. And from there, I had a contact that knew someone at Total System, which was the credit card processor. And that's how I got my foot in the door. So guys, networking is very, very important in any industry that you want to go into. A network will not get you the job. You'll get the job, right? If you're qualified, but they'll get you in the door. But as far as the background really that's needed for payment industry, I would say business or finance, because obviously there's a lot of financial things that we do manage and deal with. So I would recommend business, finance, or marketing on the product side. Now, obviously from the technical side, on Oligopen's side, if you want to be a developer and help create the magic that runs our processes, I would have to let Oligopen answer that one.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Kimberly. First, I never introduced to you guys, so I'm one of the alumni with RLIMS. It's been 17 years now. I'm out of the college, 17, 18 years. Yeah, and so to answer to your question, Kimberly, on the technology side, so, there are several, courses out there, like you have this MCA, MS Computer Science, and all those things. But all these things, just give you the basic knowledge about what skill you need, to do the technology development. But it's all like the domain skills which we need to develop. So that's, as said, we need to get into the business first. So as Kimberly said, even for me, when I joined Amax as a consultant from Accenture, so as on the technology side, so I just entered the business. I learned from them. So it's through the networking again. So you need to network with a lot of people, existing people in the domain, and as well as the people in the business, already in the business, and you gather the knowledge, and then you start doing it. So when you talk about the specific skills for entering into this particular business, I'm not sure is there any course or anything available, but the basic thing what we learn from the MBA, so that helps us to get into the networking and learn the things. That's what I would say, and that's how I learned the technological side as part of that. That's it.
Thank you both. Now only I get idea. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Yoshi from second MBA. Nowadays, I have doubt. Shall I ask, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Nowadays, they are offering many rewards for debit card and credit card to use their own products, ma'am. So from this, how to find this is a very good product? We can use this like that, ma'am.
So is your question, how do you know what is the best product to use?
Yeah, that is the question.
So that's a hard one because there's so many out there. I mean, for example, if you went to American Express's website, they've got, and I don't know how many, but let's say 50 different credit cards. But it depends on the individual. For a credit card perspective, I would not want to be charged a monthly fee. For a debit card, I would not want to be charged a monthly fee. That is not something that appeals to me at all. So I would be looking for a card that didn't require any kind of monthly fee or didn't require minimums amounts of money that you have to keep into your account or you're going to be charged a fee. Those are the type things that I look for because that's not appealing to me. I am not, it really depends on what your needs are and what you're really looking for. Because the more benefits you have, let's say with a credit card, the higher the fee there. I mean, there will be one, you will have a fee. It depends on how much you use it. For me, a credit card is more of an emergency type thing. I don't use it on a regular basis. It's not my everyday use. That would be my debit card, right? So I don't want to be charged a fee, and the benefits of it are not as important for somebody who uses it every day and accumulates those points or the cash back or whatever. I'm just not, even though I've been in the industry that long, I'm not that big of a credit card user. I use my debit card, what money I really do have, as opposed to what money I wish I had, if that makes sense. So it really depends on how you manage your money. But with a bank account, which a debit card would be tied to, I would look for something that didn't have fees and their minimum balance was something that I could manage, and I knew I would always have that money in there. I don't know if that answered your question, but that it's kind of a personal thing, so I don't know if that helped at all.
Thank you, Ms. Kimberly. I have a question to you.
Yes, sir.
If I'm asking this as you are a senior person from the card industry, is it about cost, convenience, or security? Which you place at the topmost when you design a card, because you develop products? Cost of the card, as you said, cost of the card is there, and we have convenience to the customers, how they use it, what features they have, and security, because phishing is happening every now and then everywhere, whatever security we have. So as a product development or product manager, senior director, so what do you feel? Is it cost, convenience, or security should be placed first? You can advise something on it.
So that's a great question. It really is. And again, so from my so that's kind of a personal thing too, because it depends on how people look at things, right? And where you are in your life, because I feel like the older you get, the more important security is. The more you think about those things and the challenges that can occur and those kind of things. Younger folks are really into convenience and the different things you can do with it. And then cost is important to probably everybody in some form or fashion. So I think it's really a mixture of the three. That's a very, very interesting question. and I don't know that I know exactly how to answer it, because each product that we create is very partner centric. And so the folks that we are targeting are folks that have an affinity for that particular brand, and they, you know, go to these retailers often, and, you know, have a respect for them and a comfort level for them. And then if there's the benefit of the cost savings or the cash back, then, you know, that's an additional thing. But you mentioned the security piece. With a Visa, MasterCard, or Amex, there is security wrapped around those transactions as far as if fraud occurs and your protection. So you have that security with just about any network that you go with. However, I am a bit biased with American Express. They are extremely protective and customer centric. So that product is superior in that respect. But anyway, I mean, it's an interesting question, and in the products that we create, as I said, and the customers that we go after, it really is more around their affinity and their dedication to that retailer and the benefits that they'll receive from our card. But as the processor and the program manager, we do have to stay on top of the security aspects and checking IPs and running risk rules and all sorts of magic that they do that I can't tell you what it is, even if I wanted to, but I can't, to make sure that fraud is not occurring on our accounts. Because as I mentioned earlier, there's a whole bunch of rules and regulations that we as the processor and our issuing banks have to manage through in order to process and provide these products to the public.
Hey, Kimberly, maybe I can add something over here. So just to simplify this, so security, you know, from the technology standpoint, whatever I pursued, so security is by default needed in any of the card payment transaction. So there is no compromise on it. So that's you know, most thing, you know, the first thing which we look at it from the technology standpoint, and the other two things like the convenience and the cost. It depends on the product. So there are certain products are cost related, and there are certain products are convenience related. So it's depends. So that's choices, you know, some cards offer for the consumer to choose. So that's what I perceive. You know, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you, Rahman. One more question to follow up with you, Ms. Kimberly. It's about in India we are talking about NFT, non-fungibility tokens. So, what is it all about, and can you throw some lights on NFT, non-fungibility tokens? What is the use of it?
So that would be more of an Alagapan question. So we have tokenization, and we do have tokens with our cards that we. That's really a technical question, and I don't know that I can answer it. I'm sorry.
I trust Aragapan, you can help us on this.
Alagapan, can you help them with
Yes.
tokenization?
So the NFT. Okay. So the NFT, we are not using it. It's related to mostly on the blockchain. But we have some of the tokenization for securing the card data itself, like your PIN and your card number and the CVV when it is passed through the, you know, wires. So that is a kind of tokenization which we use, but really not the NFT. And and also these tokens are basically managed by the switch which Kimberly talked about, the OLS payments, and they are part of the income, and so they handle that part of us. And once the card transaction hits from the initiated from the merchant, and it's basically your card number and everything is tokenized and sent to the switch. It's basically the wireless, and then the wireless translate into a secured, and basically we are connected secured network. It's an internal network, secured internal network, and we process the cards. So, but definitely not NFT. We are not doing it, and that is one of the initiative, the blockchain initiative, and we have a lab inside Incom, and they are like specific to the newer technologies and other things, evaluating, and they are working on it with the blockchain and other tokenization kind of stuff.
Thank you, Arhappan. Thank you, Arhappan. With one more question, I'll stop, Kimberly, because students are writing. Definitely, when you develop some product, there are success and failure, both will be there. Now you have a lot of experience. But at the beginning stage, when you are in the product development, you might have faced some failures also. How how do you tackle it, and what suggestions or advice you give it to the youngsters when there are some failures at the beginning of their career? How to manage that? Definitely, you should have come across a lot like that.
So you mean failures in launching a product, or just failures in general?
I'm talking about in general, not only product, in general.
Well, so that's an interesting question too. Did you write these down before you came? So for me, I don't really know that I think of anything that's happened in my career as a failure, because there's things to learn from. I'm gonna have to sit and think for a minute. So just my time with the Serve platform, I've been working on it for almost 15 years. And there's been great evolvement in this platform, because it originally started out as a credit card platform. And I came to work with this company because of my credit card knowledge, to help design the system and the capabilities that a credit card would need. So this was going to be a brand new credit card, not a Visa or MasterCard. It's going to be different. So started down that path, and then the economy took a turn, and the person that was heading up this company also made a decision and changed from creating a credit card to creating a new prepaid product. And so that is what we did. Now, a lot of folks could consider that a failure, right? That we weren't able to create the credit card, but I consider that a great a visionary thinking ahead and shifting as the environment around them shifted, right? And we've continued to do that. I mean, we have continued to develop and create this platform, and we created that product, and actually it was sold to American Express. People may think of that as a failure because American Express sold us. Well, it wasn't. I mean, it was a growth. And I consider this platform almost an extension of me. I have been with it for so long and have seen it grow and helped, define the capabilities that it has. And I mean, I have great care for this platform. But every part, our time with American Express, we grew and we made changes and we created products. And then the environment within American Express changed. Their needs changed. Their goals changed for their company. And Incom was actually one of our partners at that time. They processed our fund and activate capability on our starter cards. Well, they wanted to be in the prepaid business. They wanted to really be in that market. So they bought our platform. And so each one of these stepping stones, and people could see them all as failures for this platform if they so desired, but they really aren't. because things were learned and we achieved things. It's the environment around us that changed, and we changed with it. So instead of viewing something as a failure, it's, what was the growth opportunity? What did you learn from it? And, where do you position yourself to go next? And I have chosen to stay with the platform because I really want to see the success that we are ultimately going to have. And since we've been with Income, we've added 2 new networks to our platform. We've added an issuing bank. We've created new capabilities where we have, the capability to have a bank account on our platform and process those transactions and those customers and all of those things. So there's just so much that we as a company have accomplished. And so it's kind of how you view things, because all of it's a growth. It really is a journey as you go through your career and how you view things, because things won't go exactly the way you want them to. But what did you learn from it? How did you grow from it? And, how do you take that and move it forward?
Thank you, Ms. Kimball. That is what I also vouch you. Passion towards the profession and converting the stumbling blocks into the stepping stones is there definitely a way. Very good motivating answer. Thank you, Ms. Kimberly. I want students to interact a lot. Over to Aarti and team.
Yes, sir. Students, if you have any questions, please shoot out.
I think Von Safa Kumar has had their hand raised, and I may have mispronounced that.
Sorry, ma'am?
Von Safa Kumar has their hand raised.
Vasanta Kumar has raised the hand. Does he have any question? Vasanta Kumar.
Sir, I think so. He has mistakenly raised his hand.
Okay, that's good. I've done that before myself.
Aarti, quick other questions, please.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm Soumya from second MBA. Like my question is, nowadays people are saying to use a credit card rather than debit card, as it has more security, fraud protection, and security things and all. So, is that true? When compared to debit card, is credit card is having more number of securities?
So that's a great question, and I actually. So my advice to you, and I won't say it necessarily has more security, but if you are using, if you're buying anything online, I would always use a credit card as opposed to a debit card, because if for some reason somebody gets your information, they're not taking your money. It's credit, and American Express or whoever is your issuing bank will help manage that. However, if you're using your debit card online and somebody steals your information, they've physically taken money from your bank account, and you will manage that situation with your issuing bank to get your money back, but still there's a process to go through. So my rule of thumb, and it's always been that I don't ever use my debit card for any online transactions. I only go and use them at the retailer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So, hey, Soumya, this is Alagapan again to supplement that question answer. So, from the security standpoint, like it's a secured, right? The transactions are secured in a similar way for both credit transaction and the debit transactions. So, from the technological standpoint, so they are secured almost similar way. So, because it's all money. So at the end, it is a money, right? So it's all secured in a similar way. But as Kimberly rightly said, so it's depends on like the money which is going out is yours or not yours. So that is the one which, from the consumer standpoint, we take the security, that way.
Okay, sir, I got it. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Artik, quick.
Friends, any more questions?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Is there any security measure for preventing fraudulent transactions?
Are there any security measures to prevent fraud on transactions? Was that the question?
Yes, I think he's also asking about phishing of the cards and other information. That is what he's asking.
So I'm not really sure exactly how to answer that. So there's a lot of because phishing is not really something that, from a payment processor, we experience too much. I mean, phishing can happen. I mean, I guess it. I don't really know how that. Okay, so let's step back for a second. So you can have phishing, I guess, if someone's trying to pretend they're your bank, or they're contacting you about your card, and I personally, from an income processor perspective, can't protect you from that, right? It's more your knowledge of what phishing is and what it looks like and what to look for, and to know how your bank or whatever could possibly contact you. But from a fraud perspective, in someone using your card, technically, and this doesn't happen that much in the United States anymore, but it used to be that they would have to ask for your driver's license to confirm that that is your card. But we also have the capability of chips within cards. Those chips are, my understanding, cannot be replicated. So there is a way from a processing perspective to make sure that that is a valid original chip. So in your chip cards, the fraud protection is much higher than the cards that don't have a chip and you're just using magstripe. So I kind of went all over the place with that answer, but let me know if you have more questions on that.
Rapan, do you want to add some more thing to that?
Yeah, sure. So this is again related to the technology. The security measures for preventing the fraudulent transactions. So how do we do it? When a transaction enters our system, so we need to it needs to go through a lot of rules, and there is something called a rule engine, which mostly, like any of the financial institution, will have that, and the transaction should go through that, and it will validate for a lot of rules, like, so from where the transaction has been initiated. Okay, so is it coming from a legitimate source, and also it checks like the IP address tracking. So let's say you made a transaction from, I take India. Okay, so Chennai, you made a transaction in Chennai, and the system knows that you are from Chennai and you live in Chennai, and it's depends on like the way you're spending money. So you will be mostly spending money from Chennai, and you're doing it, and all of a sudden, in next 10 minutes, after making a transaction from Chennai, after 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you make a transaction from Madurai. So it's a fraudulent transaction. because nobody can go such fast away, right? So even if you take a flight, it will be like 1 hour or 1.5 hour or something like that, or 45 minutes. So it's not possible in that way. So it is a kind of a fraudulent transaction. So these are the rules. There are many rules associated to it, and any transaction comes through it, it has to go through all those rules, and the rule needs to be passed, and outcome needs to be approved, so that only your transaction will succeed. Otherwise, it will get declined. So
Thank you, Arpan. Thank you. With one last question, we'll close the session, Kimberly. The question to you, Ms. Kimberly. The question is, how do you measure the success of a product? You develop a lot of products, maybe once in a quarter, once in a year, or every now and then. How do you measure the success of a product, and how do you see that this product is a failed product? So, what is the measurement yardstick you have?
So actually, that is not something I personally do. However, from a high level perspective, when a product, when you're on the front end of the business development side of a product, there's obviously some numbers that are put out there that in order to get approval that we're going to do this, that we think that we will acquire so many new customers. And this will be the profitability of this product based on the fees that we would charge, the interchange fees that we would obtain from the networks based on transaction use and such. So those metrics that are determined up front help you measure success on the back end. And the measurements, again, would be acquisition, the number of accounts, whether it's through the retail channel, where you're buying your starter card in retail, or you're going online and registering. The number, or not the number, but the dollar amount that's loaded onto all of those accounts. So that's the funds that are put on the platform. And then how are the funds taken off? What fees are charged? What's the income and revenue there? Sometimes with partnerships, certain fees, there's a revenue share model, right? So some of the revenue share goes back to our partners and we keep some. So based on the initial assumption or the initial numbers of the product and how we felt this product would perform, then they do the comparison of that to the actual numbers and look at it month over month. And then analysis is done to try to determine if it's not performing as we think, what is it that we can do to help acquisition or to help customers use the card more. And we do have a promo tool in-house where we're able to offer promotions to certain segments of our population where they can receive $10 if they spend $20, or $10 if they deposit $100, or whatever the logic might be. So there's a good bit of analysis that happens throughout the life cycle of our products to see, again, it's month over month how they're performing, and if they're not performing where we think they should be, why, and what we can do to help increase performance.
Good answer, Kimberly. But do you have any shelf life like thing for a product? Because how long should I wait? Month on month, or quarterly, or half-yearly? How long will you wait to see the results?
Oh, well, they look monthly. It's reviewed monthly.
Okay. It's on monthly. It's on monthly. So
Yes.
normally, one follow-up question to that. Normally, how much time will you take to develop a product in your card industry?
Well, so that's a great question because it depends on what's involved with that. If it's just a standard product and we don't have to bring on a new issuer or a new network, and there's not new capabilities that we're adding to that, we could stand up a new product in maybe 3 or 4 months. But if there's a lot of development that is involved because we are adding new capabilities as we are doing with the current product, and Alagapin's team was very involved with our new cashback capability. That took a great deal of time to do that. So sometimes it can take 6 months, sometimes it can take 3 months, sometimes it can take 9. But it just depends on the development that has to be done.
Quite impressive answer, Kimberly. Thanks a lot. Over to Aarti. You can close it.
Okay, sir. Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing words with us. And I take this moment to thank our alumni, Mr. Aragappan. Sir, thank you so much, sir. You have helped a lot for organizing this webinar. And thank you so much for guiding us, sir. And now I call my friend Ms. Saumya to propose the formal vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. Now, I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution. I extend my gratitude to our guest speaker of the day, Ms. Kimberly Nichols. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening thoughts on card payment. It was really interesting and hope all the students enjoyed. Once again, thank you, ma'am, for sparing your precious time with this. And also, special thanks to our alumni for making this for making this event a wonderful success. And finally, I would like to thank our fellow mates for their active participation. Thank you and have a happy learning.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Aragappan. Thanks a lot.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I really enjoyed this and enjoyed spending time with y'all. I don't know that I'll get to meet any of y'all ever in person, but if you're in Florida, give Alagapan a call and we'll go have lunch.
Sure. I regret that we bothered you by a lot of questions with you.
No, this was wonderful. I enjoyed every minute of it, guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Aragappan.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am. Thank you, sir.